Hi there and welcome to my video today. Today I'm going to do a jelly printing session using all of these supplies. I have gathered them and these are some of the things that just kind of stood out to me. I am also going to use different paper today. I have a lot of scrapbook paper that I'm just not using, so I'm going to actually print on it and I will show you some of the pages. Just not using a lot of these papers, so I'm just going to print on the back. It's a pretty sturdy paper that I can use for collage and whatever kind of pops up on these prints. So let me show you my setup. Here's some of the stencils I'm going to use. Just going to kind of use whatever really appeals to me in the moment, depending on the colors. It's all an experiment and it's fun. It's a fun experiment. So these are some other pieces of scrapbook paper that I'm going to use as well. This is what I call a helper plate, and I often use it when I'm doing jelly printing because it allows me to actually combine the colors on the plate before I use them on my actual print. It's a great little place to experiment, have fun with the colors, and then transfer them to the actual print. So if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would love to make more videos that you like to watch. All right, let's get started. So the first color that I'm starting with is Payne's Gray. And this can be misconceived as a black, but it's actually a really dark navy. It does kind of show up a little bit like black, but when you blend it with lighter colors, it makes such a really pretty contrast without it being too stark. So it's one of my favorite colors to use as like a base color for prints. And I'm just getting rid of the extra paint in the stencils to create more space for other colors. This is the light olive green, just kind of putting down different colors to make it a fun little print. One of the things that I always have to be very careful of is not to go in too quickly with opposing colors. These pink and the green, they're opposite on the color wheel, so if I blend them a little too much, they turn into brown, which I don't want. So it's just something to think about as you're applying to the jelly plate. I always have to remember that because I get very enthusiastic about making these prints. They're so much fun. I want to keep going, but I do have to give it a little time to dry in between each layer so that it doesn't turn into mud. So I'm just using some titanium white on top to kind of adhere all the colors and make sure it will pull up and stick to paper. And the same for the helper plate. This is a really fun little extra bonus print that I make. And I'm using the collage paper that kind of looks like newspaper, so it gives an interesting background. So there's the first print. Really like the greenish contrasted with the Payne's gray. And then there's the helper plate. And the reason why I love making these collage papers is because I use so many of them in my art. And it's just a really interesting way to make more personal art. So here I am combining some fluorescent pink and cadmium orange hue. I definitely used too much orange. Kind of made like a rosy color. And I'm using that stamp just to create a little space there so that it's not all covered with the pink. And then this is the light teal. Again, trying to make sure I don't blend them too much to make mud. A lot of jelly printing is being patient. I'm just adding some fun stamps. A lot of jelly printing is thinking ahead. What do you want as the top of the print? What do you want in the background? What colors do you want to kind of combine together? And are you willing to let go of the situation and just kind of see what shows up? Here, I'm just removing some of that orange, kind of overtook the plate. This is a little tool that I wanted to make some lines with, but I wasn't really crazy about how it looked. So I easily rolled right over it. One of the reasons why I like using 2 plates at a time is because I could let one dry and work on the other. So that's another reason to kind of do a little dual plating. So just putting a real thin layer of titanium white on top and letting that sit for a while. And here's the helper plate. I like those colors together. Came out nice. This is the Payne's Gray again. Doing it with a little orange. And I'm just kind of getting rid of the paint on the print next to it as it dried. This came out a little grungier than I thought because a lot of it stayed on the plate, but that's okay. Just kind of left a really cool border for the next print. I do like the colors of that one though. And then here, just using stencils to create a little pattern. And I use that old print to take off some of the color from the stencils. So it's another way to layer on the jelly prints is just to keep using them. And that light olive green again. I tried to stay with all the same colors just to kind of create a cohesive set of prints. Stamps are always fun to use too. So that one's interesting. You could see a little of the stamp, but it kind of came out a little more mushy than I thought. So the teal and the light olive green, really pretty complementary colors. They kind of blend together. And just always creating a little interest on the plate, whether it's with stamps or stencils, just having fun with it. I also try to keep in mind I want it to look a little more spontaneous and natural, see how it comes out rather than so planned. But it's hard to control myself sometimes with the stamps. So titanium white, just letting it sit for a second. Same with the helper plate. That was a little thicker than I usually do, but it's a great way to pull up all the paint. I really like this print. I think when I stick to just a couple of colors, it comes out more how I imagined. This one's pretty. It's a little grungier than usual, but really pretty colors. Another key for the jelly plate is to apply real thin layers of the paint. That way it allows me to layer more colors and more interesting marks. And of course, allowing it to dry a little in between helps too. And stamping. And keep in mind, this is sped up as well as I do stop the camera sometimes to just let the plate dry. So it may not look like that, but I do that. So keep that in mind for your practice for your jelly plates. It's a lot of movie magic. I just took some of that titanium white off. You don't want to apply it too thick, because then it kind of takes over the piece. Those are pretty colors. I do love that background stamp too with it. And this was pretty, very grungy, really pretty colors. So here is a wrap up of all the prints I made in this quick jelly print session. And if you like this video, here are 2 more videos that I think you'll enjoy as well on jelly printing. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.